Hello there, I'm Samitha, and in this video we will be talking about Skyward and how this is the perfect book to tackle the hero trope and its flaws. Perhaps also a theory of its source, but who knows? Stay tuned! There will be tons of spoilers for Skyward ahead, so be warned. Also, I am aware that this is a YA book, so don't get me wrong, I am not aiming to critique a book from the adult perspective, but something I think would be nice to observe regardless of age. If you were paying attention just now, you must have heard that I said hero trope, not hero tropes, right? This is because I'm going to be talking about all of them as if they were one and the same. Because if you think about it, they are one and the same in the sense that they all share something in common, a hero. So yeah, this is the subject matter for today, heroes. Now let's start with the basics. What is a hero? And I know I'm not trying to treat anyone like a child here, bear with me, I'm trying to look at the common characteristics of what a hero might be in our collective imagination. Why? We'll get there, promise. Anyway, what is a hero to us? 1. They are brave. They can throw themselves at danger no matter how hard or stupid it might be. 2. They set their eyes on something big. They are not trying to finish their paperwork by Wednesday with their super agility. They are trying to defeat the bad guys who threaten their lifestyle, /city/universe, everything in between. 3. They get into tough situations, usually against a larger foe. And in most cases, they succeed. Either they get the lover of their dreams or they defeat the villain, not the other way around. 4. Most often they are perfect, quote unquote perfect, a paragon of sorts, although this may have changed due to anti-heroes becoming a thing, but I digress. They're the morally good hero who saves the day or the witty detective who fights for good. 5 and last, they're one of a kind. No hero is just like everyone else. Usually they have this something that stands out, be it superpowers or bravado no one dares show, but they're in a way unique. Now keep in mind, this is not an exhaustive list of hero characteristics and there might be some heroes that do not fit the ones I've mentioned, but I just want you to focus on what we generally think of when we evoke the word hero, or at least that's what I think of when I think of hero. To bring it back to Skyward, there is not a question in anyone's mind about Spensa being the hero because she is the protagonist, as obvious as this might get, but why Spensa of all things and how is she a hero? Well, first, she is the opposite of a coward. She is brave. There is never a moment where we as readers forget that, or at least if she's not brave, she's definitely not a coward. Also, Spensa wants to claim the stars. Set your eyes on something higher, something more grand. Claim the stars, Spensa. And this is huge because what's grander than the stars when all you've known is a cave? Am I right? And who gets in her way of claiming the stars, may I ask? None other than the Crow. And what does she do? She is set on fighting them, even when she has everything to lose. No one knows a thing about the Crow, they're losing the war and she's a cadet, not a pilot. And even before then, Ironsides is against her becoming a pilot. Well, she might not be a paragon, but she wants to fight for her people or her friends. Maybe there's a little bit of a need to prove herself in the middle of all that, but she's not all that morally gray if you ask me. Last but not least, she has a defect. This makes her exceptional compared to most, because she ends up saving Detritus in the second battle of Alta thanks to it, but this also makes her an outcast. The daughter of the coward no one wants to associate with. Surprise, surprise! Spensa checks all the boxes. Now though, it gets complicated. Sure, Spensa wants to become a hero or a pilot because so she says. Nobody will think I'm weird, and I won't get into trouble for fighting because my job will be fighting. They won't call me names and everyone will love me. Granted, some circumstantial events change from the moment she's a child, but the desire stays the same. She wants to become a pilot to be respected by everyone. But where did that desire come from? Easy answer, the bullying. Hard answer, the DDF. Yeah, the DDF made Spensa the hero she is by the end of the book, but for all the wrong reasons. And before you think,
yeah, well, they gave her the education for it in the first place, so duh.
I'd say yes, they made her a pilot, gave her the skills and the equipment, but they also gave her the desire for her to become a pilot. Now, excuse me for getting to weird territory here, as in FM kind of weirdness, but FM was right. There's actually nothing new in what I'm about to say, because she's said it before, yet I think it's good for me to point it out. Well, most of what you say is utter nonsense. Windy bravado made us an excuse to tout jingoistic mantras instilled in you by a lifetime of divine indoctrination. As she said, the DDF brainwashes teens to become pilots with the excuse of saving Detritus and the Defiant through fighting, then becoming heroes as a result. So, yeah, propaganda. But they don't actually want heroes in their ranks. They are merely looking to get people to join their army and fight their cause. What cause? Save the world from the crowd to finally have peace and let go fighting for good. Nah, their cause would be to gain victory on their terms. Like FM just said, the Defiant have enslaved themselves to a rule by the DDF. They have determined that the first citizens will be held like gods. They are above and beyond the rules and can even grant their descendants powers no one else has, in the form of opportunities, I guess. They have also restricted the most dangerous places from access and deemed them exclusive, as if that were somewhere they dreamed to be in. Oh, but they do. Okay, they are also taught to be the perfect soldiers to win against the crowd. Not to end the torment brought on by the crowd, but to win over the crowd, if you catch my drift. Pilots are meant to be in control of their emotions. They must be ready for duty. Perfect pilots also means they need to be obedient. To follow us, you have to be willing to follow instructions. Remember, obedience is defiance. Obedient enough to sacrifice their lives to save acclivity rings because the DDF, quote-unquote, protects the people, not the self. As an institution, they've also come up with an idea to make people not worry about the death toll they produce. Those casualties are honorable and righteous. They will be remembered as heroes. Are they really heroes, and will they be remembered? To the second question, no. It only takes a handful of names to be obscured from the spotlight, thus not one of them becomes special, but a victim of war. To the first, let's start. They are brave because they keep on fighting the crowd even when they know it might be the death of them. They're also in the fight to save the people of Detritus because, they are by all means morally good. The one thing they lack as a group, though, uniqueness. Uniqueness, again. Only one can be one of a kind, and only one was being stopped by Ironsides from becoming great. Spensa. All the other pilots? Pawns. That's the key. That specialness that disrupts the balance at a given time. They're afraid of the defect because they think it can change things. Change the DDF as we know it, or end it altogether. So they produce heroes, with quotation marks. A narrative they use to draw people in. Now, Spensa, initially one of them, disrupts the system for good and saves everyone. A hero. A true hero the DDF did not intend for, but pushed towards. Their definition of a hero was altered to fit their needs, but molded Spensa into who she was and what she wanted.
Alright.
you say.
But what does that have to do with tropes?
Well, let's examine Spensa's childhood after she was named the daughter of a coward. First, the idea of being a hero, like the glorified pilots in the Triads, who have privileges above the rest, entails bravery. But not just any type of bravery. It also needs to be the kind of bravery that never questions obedience. If you do, that makes you a coward. Now, coward is a heavy word, derogatory to say the least. Judge a little girl by turning her into a coward herself in a culture where aggressiveness and fighting are considered a trait of heroes, and you get a Spensa who wants to be a pilot. She wants to be a pilot because she wants to be respected. She wants to be a pilot because she wants to be loved. If we think about it, where does the narrative of a hero come from? I'd say after reading Wikipedia and analyzing Spensa's story, from a deep desire to fight adversity, make the world a better place, gain glory and stuff. That's if you count Greeks being the first to coin the term. Could it all mean that there is a world that we want to change and fame we want to chase? Perhaps we don't feel at ease in the world we live in, a world where we go against foes larger than us basically every minute. We need grit to cope with that, and maybe we don't feel we have the strength to make a difference. We must become special to make a dent in the world by ourselves. Heck, we could even lack the power to make a dent in our own life. We might want to change the world because we don't feel loved in the first place. Can the hero trope be the reflection of our desires as a collective? And if so, what's the fault in it? Perhaps it's not a fault, but an observation to make. We keep on getting in the shoes of someone extraordinary, someone who can have the impact we wish we had. Perhaps it's escapism from our own world because it's just too much. Maybe there's some avoidance in, doing anything about it because we might feel too small to do so. And that's maybe why we keep on waiting for this special someone to save us. From the politics, from the sins, from anything man-made. And I know it's amazing when we get transported into worlds that are so different from our own. But there is a difference between escaping because we feel our life is too boring or too stressful, and escaping because we genuinely want to visit another world as a complementary activity to our already awesome life. Maybe we're running away because we're too broken to accept that the world breaks us. Or maybe we just don't give a damn anymore. Because I don't want to end this video on a sad note, I want to offer an alternative. Although it's hard to do so because that's not what we've been taught, but I don't want to give up yet. If you've noticed, we have been consuming hero stories like sugar, and the taste of it is known to be addictive and hard to shake off. So I'm not advocating for the elimination of the trope entirely, more like for us to draw more consciousness to it, I'd say. The problem is that we don't examine it too closely and merely accept this trope as the way to write stories. Granted, there are some exceptions here and there, but not enough. We are creative beings. We can do something different. We can start questioning why we as readers yearn for heroes and maybe write about it. Write a parody, write a critique, write the trope with a twist, or perhaps build another trope altogether. It might take years of work, even teamwork, but it could be worth it. Just imagine the possibilities. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you can, give it a like. Subscribe for more, and thank you for listening. Really.